2023 Chiefs are a bizarre team. We're so used to seeing them dominate the AFC, and they're having a good season, by the way. Not going to take anything away from them. They're 9-6. They're doing pretty well. The interesting thing is that they're only 4-4 at home while being 5-2 on the road. It is a defense that seems about as good as it ever has been with Patrick Mahomes, yet the Chiefs continue to struggle, and why? And I think it really boils down to one thing. You look at the offensive line, it's a good offensive line. Again, their defense is playing really well. You could use some upgrades here and there, right? No question. But offensively, it's like, oh, how much help does Patrick Mahomes need? More than what he has. Travis Kelce's on the worst 4-game skid of his career in the past 5 or so years. I think he's been as unproductive as he has been since 2018 over a 4-game stretch. I think I saw Hayden Winks tweet that out from Underdog. And outside of Travis Kelce, what can you really rely on? Rashee Rice is a nice up-and-coming rookie, but he's still a rookie. That best asset is probably his run blocking, right? Sky Moore has been disappointing. Kadarius Toney is not good. And Marquez Valdes-Scantling is what we know him to be. He's a deep threat who sometimes catches the football, oftentimes drops it. You need more weapons for Patrick Mahomes. That's what takes this Chiefs team up to the next level. You need somebody else you can rely on in the passing game. Isaiah Pacheco's been great, but you need another weapon, a reliable option out wide in the passing game, and the Chiefs just really don't have that. And when you look at this team, it does look pretty awesome. Of course, we talked about a lot of these players already, but you just need more reliable weapons, and an upgrade at left tackle over Donovan Smith wouldn't be the worst idea either. Joe Tooney's one of the best left guards in the game. Trey Smith is amazing. Creed Humphrey's one of the best centers in the league. Right, they've got a very solid up-and-coming team in a lot of areas. Defensively, this team's playing quite well. Doesn't look especially good. I would probably give Willie Gay star development. Leo Chanel, I think, could honestly be star development as well. I love Charles Omenihu. Hook him. Super excited for the Sugar Bowl. We'll see if we can develop Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I think he could end up being a starter for us. Of course, back end of the first-round pick for the Chiefs at Kansas State very recently, keeping him local. Really awesome player. King Felix at Kansas State was electric. I mean, multiple massive games. I'm talking 5 sack games at Kansas State. He was incredible. I want to say, I'm a little bit scared because I might be wrong. I want to say Oklahoma State he took down for 5 sacks. I'm going to fact check it though. Yes, it was against TCU. 6 sacks in one game against TCU. And if I actually remember correctly, now that I'm kind of getting this back in my mind, I want to say 1 sack was taken off the board as well. So he may have had 7, but that's just anecdotal. I don't truly know if that's accurate, but I think it is. But yeah, the potential is there, is kind of what I'm getting at. He could end up being a very nice player. Got a lot of great traits for us as well. So the sooner we can actually work him into the starting lineup, probably the better. Mike Dana and Charles Omenihu are higher rated right now, but Anudike-Uzomah is probably just a better option for us when you consider his age and his room for development and his dev trait being star dev, I would guess. It could be superstar, I guess, but I know it isn't, so it's not. It's gonna be star. I want to get him in at some point for sure. Feels great to be so right about Trent McDuffie, of course. Don't want to totally victory lap here, but he was one of my highest graded players in the entire draft for his draft cycle and is now emerging to being one of the best defensive backs in the entire NFL. He's an incredible player, and he should be a really fun building block in this rebuild. But our biggest focus before we hit training camp this season, this rebuild, get more playmakers for Mahomes, upgrade at left tackle, and then fill in some holes defensively. Could be a good safety combo with Brian Cook and Justin Reed. We'll see. I didn't really even mention Chris Jones, but we all know about Chris Jones. He's, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league, if not the best. He's right up there in that conversation. I'm only saying that because a lot of Chiefs fans are going to be watching this video. We all know it's New York Giants legend Dexter Lawrence. It actually probably is. He's incredible. But Chris Jones is also great. He definitely was the best interior defensive lineman for at least a season. I think Aaron Donald took the slightest step back you could imagine, and Chris Jones was so close at that point that Chris Jones probably took over. And Aaron Donald's still amazing, but I think Dexter Lawrence is the new ideal king right now. Obviously not for his career. Aaron Donald might be the best interior defensive lineman of all time. That's the type of player that Aaron Donald is. But yeah, this is not a debate video opinion. Gonna upgrade Kadarius Toney here. This is somebody I'm going to trade. I'm just not gonna deal with it. Now, such a weird Kadarius Toney storyline so far, just in what it has meant for the NFL. And nothing like super significant. Kadarius Toney did have a big punt return in the Super Bowl that helped the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. But when you look at it, he was drafted by Dave Gettleman, the GM of the Giants, in the first round, and then traded to the Chiefs for pick number 100 when Joe Shane became the GM of the Giants, which was then traded to the Raiders for Darren Waller, who is now on the Giants. I don't even know what the Raiders did with that pick. I think, was it Aiden O'Connell? Nah, I don't think it was. Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker is who the Raiders drafted. Who, man, does that guy like to drop the ball. But Kadarius Toney just can't be on the team anymore. Gonna trade him. And he should be somewhat valuable. He's got star dev. I don't know what is going on here. But he's got star dev. He's young. He's probably someone you can develop in the game. And I'm not sure I'm going to trade him right this second. But I'm going to trade him at some point. I'm eyeing maybe the midseason mark. Get him up to an 80 overall. I could see that being his most valuable point. And then flipping him for anything. And interestingly enough, the strengths of this class, corner, wide receiver is the big one, left end. Wide receiver is going to be one that we focus on. Need an upgrade there. So hopefully there is somebody that's actually really, really good that we're able to draft. Top player in the class appears to be a corner. Not really seeing much in the way of receivers at the top of the board, which could actually work to our benefit. Because we might be able to get somebody really good down the board. Like Dominic Pope from Notre Dame or Juan Dawson from Texas. Romeo Hitchcock from USC. We got some names in this class and some very different sizes. We have 6'5", 223, all the way down to 5'8", 182 back to back. So somebody in the slot, somebody on the outside potentially. A lot of big receivers in this class though. The majority of these guys are 6'3" and up. In fact, it's mostly just 6'3" and up. Okay, so let's see these salaries. Chris Jones going into the final year of his deal. You can see our cap space is a little over 10 mil in the top right. Now, not much rolled over from the previous year. We need to create a little bit of space to give us a little bit more freedom in 2024 and beyond. When you look at a contract like Patrick Mahomes, the cap hits $37 million in 2023. Actually pretty good for a top-of-the-line quarterback. However, that goes up to $57 million next year and then over $60 for the next 2 years before dropping back down to $59.4 in 2027. But paying a quarterback and getting that monster, massive cap hit can only hurt the rest of the team. As great as it is to have a superstar quarterback, you got to have a team around him. Football is as much of a team sport as there is in sports, period. Right? I mean, you have comparable sports that are right there too, like baseball and hockey probably in that conversation as well. But football is a 53-man roster where everybody plays some type of a role, whether it's the importance of special teams, playing on the offensive or defensive lines. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about every position, but there are a lot of players you need to play. Baseball, a ton of guys need to contribute. You know, that's why we have a team with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout last season, and granted, health was an issue. And those guys can't even make the playoffs. Those are two of the best 5 players in baseball. The team doesn't even really come that close to making the playoffs because you need pitching, you need other guys in the lineup, you need so many different things, but whatever. Regardless, we need to create cap space to build a team around Patrick Mahomes, is what I'm saying. And I do want to extend Chris Jones. So where can I create cap space? Expiring contracts also for L'Jarius Sneed, Hunter Tommy Townsend, Drew Tranquil, who I need to trade. He's 28 years old. Mike Dana, I could probably trade as well. He's only 25. There is room to do something with him, but I think it probably makes more sense to go George Karlaftis and Felix Onyedika-Uzama. Just cheaper, younger options at this point. So I don't really want to trade a lot of these players, but I almost don't even have a choice, and a lot of players have expiring contracts. It's, do we bring back the best players we have? They really brought in O'Shane Zimina as well. Or do we bring back a select few players that can help us build the team and get as much back as we can for some of these other guys I don't really see being long-term contributors? And that's kind of the path I'm going to go down is trading those guys probably. And it's just going to be the way that it goes. I don't think it's really going to hurt the team overall. The players I'm trading, whether it's Jerick McKinnon or Drew Tranquill, Mecole Hardman, Kadarius Toney, these guys don't really help or hurt us as we're 0-2 to start the year. Okay, well, maybe this is going to be a tank. This is going very poorly. This also, and I've never even thought about doing this before, this could be an incredible opportunity to take advantage of our low projected pick, or high projected pick, I guess, because of how bad we are to start. We're only 0-2, so there's a lot of room to turn this around, but right now we're projected the number 2 overall pick in the draft, which I'm guessing is going to have significant value, although maybe because it's so earlier in the year they've factored that in and it's not that valuable. It seems like it's just about the value of a regular first round pick. I was hoping maybe we'd get a monster offer in here. There are some really solid ones. Justin Madubuike actually could be incredible. Does have an expiring contract, but he's a really good player. It would be a great replacement, I guess, for Derek Nottie. That could actually be the way we go. Now, George Pickens is also here, but I don't just want to give away my first round pick without getting one in return. But we do have some options. So I might bundle in a first round pick and then a player I'm looking to trade away, like 1 year remaining left on his contract, backup running back Jerick McKinnon. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also in here as well. But I think Kadarius Toney maybe sticks around for 1 more year and then gets traded again. I'm going to trade him, but maybe it's just not now. Hardman, obviously not going to trade Travis Kelce. Trading Donovan Smith and then downgrading to Wanya Morris really isn't that much of a downgrade. It's just, Wanya Morris is pretty good. 22 years old. I know 67 overall doesn't look great, but compared to a 73 in Donovan Smith, who's 30 years old on the final year of his contract, that's somebody I really could get rid of. And Wanya Morris, I could see starting games for the Chiefs at some point as well. He was a decent prospect. Okay, I am making a wild trade to start this one. It's Mecole Hardman, Donovan Smith, Derek Nottie, a first, 4th, and 5th round pick this year for Jordan Mailata and a first. So a massive upgrade at left tackle. Cannot even tell you how big an upgrade that is. Obviously, I was looking at some of the skill position players like George Pickens, Treylon Burks. However, I thought getting a 26-year-old superstar level left tackle is just way too good to pass on. And we had to go out and trade for him. Big time move into the offense. And now our offensive line is really one of the best in the league. You don't really find a hole on this. Right tackle's not as good as the rest in Jawan Taylor, but he's somebody that could end up being solid enough for us. And he's been, pretty good before. So I feel incredible about that trade. And of course, we get the Eagles' first round pick, which isn't going to be incredibly valuable. So that might be something I flip to somebody else for a first round pick. Maybe a bad team has started out 2-0, and I can use that to my benefit. It's cheesy, don't get me wrong, but hey, we're trying to win. Okay, another massive trade. Mike Dana, Drew Tranquill, Jalen Watson, a first and a third are headed to Baltimore again for another not so valuable first round pick. But getting Justin Madubuike back in this is the big piece of this trade. He's going to be shifting over from right end to defensive tackle. Just obviously a fantastic fit in the 4-3. He's played so well in 2023 as well. You're really truly seeing a monster breakout season from Justin Madubuike. And he's one of the better interior defensive linemen in the league right now. And yes, he's an 85 overall defensive end, but he's not a defensive end. In a 3-4, sure. But in a 4-3, he is your 3 technique defensive tackle. Slide him over. We've got now a monster interior pass rush duo. The best in the league at this point it would be, with Justin Madubuike and Chris Jones. And this is an incredible duo. Now, gonna have to extend him as well as Chris Jones, which is not going to be cheap, don't get me wrong, but he's really, really good. And I feel like we're also freeing up money in the process. $27 million. L'Jarius Sneed doesn't want to be back right now, but he doesn't know what he wants. So I wouldn't even worry about that. I don't actually see Justin Madubuike in here. He's definitely a free agent. I felt so confident about that. Chris Jones, I do want to extend. I think a 4-year contract is going to be fine for him, but I might just offer 3 years, and I think that's going to be accepted. Chris Jones is back for the next 3. We only have $4 million in available salary cap right now. Need to do something about that, obviously. And Patrick Mahomes is a big problem at the moment. I might restructure some of these contracts to give us a little bit more flexibility, but that would definitely hurt us down the line at the back of this rebuild. But right now we have some tough choices to make. Joe Thuney's contract is huge. Justin Reed, we'd save money by getting rid of. I don't really want to pay him that much money. Marquez Valdes-Scantling needs to be moved as well. We can save money by getting rid of some of these guys, but we don't exactly have a ton of wiggle room. I don't know why O'Shane Jimenez is on this team. We're just going to cut him. And I don't mean that as he's not on the Chiefs in real life. I mean, he's not very good, and he shouldn't be getting paid that. Cap hit on Marquez Valdes-Scantling is $14 million in 2024. No, can't do that. Oh, okay, that's just accepted. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is headed to the Raiders. They're really the only team that was interested in him. We're getting a 3rd-round pick in return, which I think is actually pretty good. You know what it is with Justin Madubuike? Is he got re-signed in the game before we traded for him. So this is the contract the Ravens gave him. He's under contract through 2025. That is huge for us. Okay, another bizarre trade with a division rival. Jerick McKinnon, Mike Edwards, a 1st-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, are headed to the Broncos for 2 players just for cap purposes, and a 1st, 3rd, and 3rd next year from Denver. An interesting, bizarre trade, but again, we're trying to move some money around, and this is kind of the way we're doing it right now. Might also sign some players in free agency to fill out the roster. We're down to just 47 guys on the 53-man. So we could elevate some players from the practice squad, although, I mean, I guess Justin Ross could come up. That kind of makes sense. Guys like Jason Verrett are going to help fill out the roster. Verrett still, I think, is going to be an incredible player for us. I don't know, how do I even say it? He's still, injury dependent if he's healthy. I think he's still a very good player. He just has never been able to stay healthy his entire career. He was one of the best corners in the league for a stretch that nobody really talked about, and he just could not stay healthy. He was so good and never really got a chance to reach his peak. Now, I should say, I'm not sure he's still going to be good. I know he just got signed to the 49ers practice squad and probably will end up playing this season, but still probably very talented. It's just, injuries have unfortunately ruined his career. And just like that, we are now 5-2 on a win streak post-trade deadline. Or now that we're at the trade deadline, post-trades, I should say. Yeah, tough losses to start the year against the Lions and Jags, but we've won out since then, scoring over 40 points 3 weeks in a row. Our defense has really been up and down. 7 points allowed against the Bears, 20 against the Jets, 42 against the Vikings, and then back down to 7, and we're climbing again. So surely at the Broncos, we're going to allow 40-plus points if it scales similarly. But I would say we're in a good spot. This could be a moment where we make a big-time trade to bring in a big-time receiver. I could see that being an option for us. I mean, the offense is up to a 92 overall. Defense is 85. What do we really need right now? It's still kind of the same thing. A big-time receiver, but do we just wait to the draft? I'm not sure we really have the money to be going out and getting a big player. That's the only problem. Because what happens when we have to pay that player? Or if they have an expiring contract, we're just not going to be able to. They're just going to walk. So it's a bit of a difficult spot. I think the best move is just kind of hold tight, keep the team together. Need Willie Gay to be back. I'd really like L'Jarius Sneed to be back as well. But I don't know. Not incredibly expensive. It's a really important player. I think we just have to try and get him in. And L'Jarius Sneed is back for the next 4 years. Willie Gay, if we can bring him back, I'm fine with letting everybody else walk. Only $3 million in 2024 cap room is incredibly tough. I think at that point we can probably restructure a contract in 2024. But right now, we obviously don't have that flexibility. So Willie Gay is going to be difficult. Don't want to franchise tag him because we'd have to pay him like an edge rusher. And that would be an incredibly expensive contract for a whatever player at this point. So I don't know. A lot of decisions to be made. Linebacker is often a pretty good position down the board in these drafts. But still, I don't really want to lose like the core of this team. I've already made some crazy trades to bring in new faces. I don't want to totally destroy the identity of the Chiefs, but at the end of the day, the identity of the Chiefs is more or less Patrick Mahomes. So as long as he's here, and he's going to be, I think we should be fine. So Devontae Merritt clearly is going to be an incredible corner. Great hit power and man coverage. Good press tackle, zone coverage. Play rec looked a little bit low, but he's going to be great. We just can't take a corner this high in the draft. And when you look at receiver, I could see Dominic Pope being quite good. I do want to know a little bit more about him. I like the look of Deontay Holmes. Now, route running doesn't look amazing. It's tough. You got to look beyond the initial ratings with some of these receivers. Athleticism plays a big part, but obviously he's quite good in a lot of areas. Just medium and deep route running aren't so good. See, catching is in the 70s. It's not really too bad. First round talent for Rodney Gore. I could see Enrique Gaines being pretty good as well. And apparently receivers, a big strength of this class. Dominic Pope, I'm thinking, could be the best of the bunch here at the top. Looks really good in key ratings, and he's a very good athlete. Dominic Pope is probably going to be the one. His holiness could make his way to Kansas City. Mike Redd also looks like a tremendous corner down the board. I mean, maybe we shouldn't have re-signed L'Jarius Sneed because we have some options. And here we are in the playoffs, playing the Baltimore Ravens. They're 11-6. Yeah, I knew as soon as we traded for Madden in that first-round pick, the first-round pick wasn't going to be incredibly valuable, although we could make it more valuable if we were to beat them. Patrick Mahomes has an incredible year, as always, over 4,700 yards passing. I'm not even sure if we have the Ravens' first-round pick anymore. I think we could have moved that. It's a possibility. 44 touchdowns to 3 picks, though, for Mahomes. Isaiah Pacheco had 19 touchdowns, only 3.8 yards per carry. Got the ball a lot. I think once he gets up to a 90 overall plus, he's going to be very, very good. Until then, might see sub 4 yards per carry. But next season, he should be 90 plus, so I think we're going to go over that threshold. Travis Kelce was amazing, as was the rookie Rashee Rice. That's Offensive Player of the Year type stuff. About 1,200 yards receiving, 15 touchdowns. If we're making Richie James and Rashee Rice look amazing, Kadarius Toney having a really good season for expectations. Where even is Sky Moore? Did I trade him? He just didn't even play. Oh, nice. Good stuff. Good stuff. He's not being developed, obviously. But, yeah, imagine what we can do with actual amazing receivers, and hopefully we end up getting one. Felix Onyedika-Uzomah had 22 TFLs. Only 3 sacks, but was a monster in the run game. Chris Jones was great. Madubuike didn't do a whole lot. Nick Bolton, 3 picks. Only guy on the team with more than 1. But we'll see if we can beat the 11-5 Ravens here in the first round of the playoffs. And we do. 35-28. But we need 2 more wins to even make the Super Bowl, so it's not going to be incredibly easy. But I like how well Felix Onyedika-Uzomah is developing so far. With 20-plus TFLs, I guess there's a chance he can go to superstar development with a Rookie of the Year win. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. His sack numbers weren't great, but 20-plus TFLs is amazing. In fact, in the sim engine, they should probably tone down the TFLs. Could even turn up sacks a little bit, certainly interceptions, but you get way too many 20 TFL guys. It's an incredible number to get. It just is not that common. That's more than a tackle for loss per game. And we are eliminated from the playoffs by the Bengals. 4-point loss ends our season. Rashee Rice does win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Gets upgraded to superstar development, so he now has abilities and is going to be a monster for us. I want his deep route running to go up, make him a more balanced player. So deep threat is going to be what we choose to upgrade. And +1 to speed for him is actually pretty nice as well. Cowboys beat the Jets in the Super Bowl. Interesting. Josh Allen wins NFL MVP. Rashee Rice, of course, Offensive Rookie of the Year. They gave Jalen Carter Rookie of the Year in the NFC. However, I wonder if in the AFC in Madden, Felix Onyedika-Uzomah could have won it. I guess it's a possibility. My expectations aren't super high. I didn't see any skill point upgrades for either Rashee Rice or Onyedika-Uzomah. Yeah, he got nothing. So now down to negative 590K. That's the problem. is we can't afford to re-sign anybody. But as I mentioned, the only player I'm actually super interested in bringing back is Willie Gay. Now, he's 26 years old. I'm thinking maybe a 2 or 3 year deal at the most. But how do we create room for that? Now, the new salaries are going to be in effect now. So we have to pay Patrick Mahomes a lot. Travis Kelce gets more expensive. Where can we save money? Mailata, but no. Definitely want him to stick around. Justin Reed's the big one right now. We can save a lot of money by moving on from him. And Charles Omenihu as well. Don't want to trade my guy, hook him, but I think we have to. He's not really going to be a starter. Paying him quite a bit. Tony's going to be gone. Lucas Niang could probably go as well. That just might be a cut. I don't think anyone's going to be interested in trading for him. I mean, I can try it, but I doubt it. But where can we move some money right now? Mahomes is so expensive. So what I'm going to do is restructure his deal. I'd love to make it more expensive in 2028. Can I not restructure this right now? Oh, that's really frustrating. Because he has 6 years remaining. Is that why? Well, Jawan Taylor's contract is very bad for us right now. That's right. I forgot he signed that massive deal. All right. Well, that's gonna hurt us right now. He's just not good enough to be worth that here. We're gonna free more cap space this season and add a ton of money, $7.5 million to 2025 on Joe Thuney. So makes 2025 extremely expensive, but 2024 not quite so bad, which means I can bring back Willie Gay at least, and that's a starter. That's somebody I really would like to have back for the next couple of years. So we're gonna have to do that. And let's see here. I like the low risk offer. I can up the money a little bit as well. This really isn't so bad. And Willie Gay returns for 3 years. That's the perfect contract for him. The rest of these players have to go. But even though we can't do anything in free agency, I talked to you guys about some of those players that will be traded here in the offseason. Charles Omenihu, Darius Toney probably. Those guys will have some value. So it'll be a fun offseason, I think. We're a great team, obviously. Unfortunately lost in the playoffs to the Bengals, but in a perfect spot to bounce back in 2024 with a big-time wide receiver one, and I'm thinking Dominic Pope is going to be that guy. Rashee Rice, of course, great season as well. He's probably more likely to be our wide receiver one, but Dominic Pope as a rookie I think is going to be great. However, we haven't drafted him yet, so got to focus on actually bringing him to the team first if he's going to be the player I think he can be. Otherwise, we'll pivot, of course. But first round pick, I think we have a second, multiple thirds, some flexibility to move up and down the board. And maybe he isn't. Dominic Pope, round 2 to 3 talent. I thought he was going to have great to elite speed. It's only down to good. He skipped the combine. Acceleration's marginal. Maybe I had the wrong read on this guy. He still looks pretty good. Almost looks like his ratings were changed. Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. That's probably it. But I thought he was going to be great. If receiver was really a strength of this class, it actually ends up being Deontay Holmes and Rodney Gore, who are the round 1 talents. That's interesting. Any of these guys really good athletes? Deontay Holmes is pretty good. Not quite elite speed, but pretty good. And then Rodney Gore is the other one, who seems pretty well balanced. Tell me you're a really good athlete. Playmaker archetype with wheels, elite acceleration. Yeah, no, he's the guy. This is the guy. Rodney Gore, a spectacular catch, spin move, ball carrier vision, kick return, awareness. Very interesting. B for short route running, medium route running, catching, run blocking. C for deep route running, catching traffic. Pretty good. C release, really well-rounded, 21 years old. He very sneakily is the guy. And it seems like the receiver I want is not even expected to be a first-round pick. We might be able to kill this draft. We've actually ended up with the 9th overall pick. Who did I trade this pick to? I just forget sometimes. The Broncos. Yes. Interesting. I only have 1 third-round pick this year, but 2 next year. Okay. How do we kill this draft? Maybe a trade down. Maybe a trade down. That could actually be a great option. Jason Melvin looks like a great defensive end option. would probably be somebody that I draft if we don't actually need to address other positions more, but I think we do. Some great corners, potentially move somebody back to safety. Against my better judgment, we could actually go back-to-back A&M players, but the corner-receiver combo looks great. Mari Connor is also somebody I think could end up being a pretty good player for the Chiefs in real life. It's just that I don't know how developable he is in the game for us. I'm not going to play him over Brian Cook. Does he start over Justin Reed, who I'm actively trying to trade? It's tough to say. All right, that's going to be the trade I make. Justin Reed, final year of his deal. Too expensive is what it came down to. Had to trade him. Number 9, moving back to number 13, also picking up number 45 in the process. And if the corner is available at 13 that I like, that's who I'm going to draft. If he's not, as the Rams go with Jaquan Ramsey, wonder who that could be. Jalen Ramsey replacement. He went to USC as opposed to Ramsey went to Florida State. So if the corner I want gets to 13, which he does, I said I would draft him. I might still. I might. Something I'm definitely considering. Looks like a really good player. Don't know what his true talent is, but 6'3", 198 with A-man, B-press, B-zone. Really good athlete. Just probably too good to pass on. Would he move back to safety? Can't guarantee that, but Brian Cook makes sense to start at strong safety. Shamari Connor then could start at free safety. Mike Redd could be cornerback number 3. I think he's just the best player available. Gotta draft him. And he's only got normal dev, of course. But very good athletic ratings. Certainly a disappointing development trait. But that is our first pick. Making another trade here, Kadarius Toney, Charles Omenihu, a second-round pick. I believe it's number 57. Yes, it is. A 5th in 2025 and 26 gets us a second-round pick, number 36, I believe, and a second-round pick next year from the Patriots. So Patriots getting a couple of potential starters. And even though the receiver I want is not expected to be a first-round pick, I think it might be best to trade up into the first round to make sure we can actually get him. We pick at 36, 45, and then 91. But I could definitely move a 3rd or 4th next year to move up just a few spots to make sure we can get our guy. And that's exactly what it is. It is number 36, a 3rd next year to move up to 32 with the Cowboys. So we get the last pick of the first round. And I'm really hoping that receiver is going to be available. He wasn't expected to be a first-round pick. So the last pick of the first round should be enough to bring him to Kansas City. Dominic Pope stays available, as does Deontay Holmes. And the receiver I want is still available. He's going to be drafted here. I would put him a little bit ahead of Deontay Holmes. I'll take one more look to make sure I'm making the right decision. Looks like a good player as well. I think that Rodney Gore is better. Welcome to the Kansas City Chiefs, hopefully our first hidden development player of the draft, and it is. Rodney Gore has 92 speed, 95 acceleration, agility, and change of direction in the 90s. He should be a really nice player. Playmaker archetype, which I'm a little bit worried about post Kadarius Toney, but hopefully he can actually develop into somebody that catches the football. That's what I'm hoping for, hoping he develops into being a really nice wide receiver too, and I think I'm probably done making trades in this draft for the most part. And we'll simulate to round 2, pick 13. And we'll see who gets to this spot. Could take another corner. I like one with A zone coverage because it means be a pretty solid safety. Elite strength and acceleration, solid speed. Could you be a safety? Tyler Hooks. I'm leaning that way, actually. Good athlete, great zone coverage. Sounds like a safety. And I think I've convinced myself into drafting him. We need more depth in the secondary anyway. Tyler Hooks does have hidden development. 90 speed, 95 acceleration. Athletic ratings look pretty good, but I need his other ratings to really look like a safety. And I'm hoping that ends up being the case. I think this has been a good draft for us so far. The first corner, I'm convinced, is going to be very, very good, even though he only had normal development. The next 2 players, of course, look great. Hidden development. Have to see what their role ends up being on this team. We're going to take a chance on an outside linebacker. Terrence Valentine from North Carolina. 6'1", 242, only 21 years old. A tackle, B zone coverage. Says he has great acceleration and speed, but he ran in the 4.7s, which I wouldn't say is great. But I'm going to trust the actual words as opposed to the numbers. More of a words guy anyway. Only ends up having 84 speed, but 89 acceleration. Hidden Dev, good backup, potentially. I know we have Willie Gay already, who we signed to an extension. We have Leo Chanel, who I'm going to play. We have, obviously, Nick Bolton. But bringing in a good fourth linebacker to the mix, I think, is a pretty smart call. And our offensive line already looked great. Receiver looks pretty good. Obviously, drafted one in this class. I think we did all we could do. There are a lot of round 3 to 4 talents at receiver here in round 6. Seems like a good like opportunity to take one. How about one with great speed? Ran in the low 4.3s, a kick return. James Kirkpatrick seems like a no-brainer fit onto this team here on late day 3. Great speed, great change of direction. Could be a good pickup. And I would say this was a pretty great draft. Mike Redd is a 79 overall. That's a great pick. 81 man, 74 zone, 75 press. But how do you only have normal development? Very annoying, but that's still great. Rodney Gores is 77 overall. That's a great draft pick at receiver. Route running's pretty good overall. Catching is an 83. I mean, you can't really look at the letter grade and say C and be like, it's not worth taking, because 83 is still very, very good. I thought it would be in the high 70s, ends up being in the low 80s. Great spectacular catch, and obviously a really good athlete as well. Great pickup. Tyler Hooks is a 76 overall. I think he's going to move back to safety. His man coverage is horrendous. His tackling is not great. Block shedding's pretty good-ish for a corner. Hit power's okay. Yeah, he's moving back to safety for sure. Just not somebody I can trust at corner one bit. But I think free safety is going to be his calling. Again, not really sure what happens with Shamari Connor right now. Brian Cook's going to move to strong safety. Cooks overall does not change at free safety. And then Valentine and Kirkpatrick are both in the high 60s, which isn't so bad. And we'll see the rest of the NFL. Number 1 overall player was the corner Devontae Merritt. He looks to be great. There's actually a better corner down the board with Hidden Dev. Looks incredible. Just looks like an upgraded version of the corner that we drafted. And a lot of that is, of course, because of the Hidden Dev. When you look at the actual overall, I mean, we're right there. The 7th round fullback is also right there, interestingly enough. But we just got a little unlucky. And we took the corner with worse speed, but higher acceleration. But ultimately, a lower dev trait. Guaranteed. Center looked great. Jason Melvin was great. An 84 overall finesse move rate, or 82 overall finesse move rating is a pretty good start. Finesse moves is terrible, but a 78 overall out of the draft at defensive end is really, really good. Typically, it's lower than that. It really is. Rodney Gore is right in that top 10, though. We had a good draft. We just, unfortunately, did not get a great dev trait with the top player. Okay, this will be the team. I feel pretty good about it. The offense looks great. And defensively, we have a bit of developing to do, but the linebacking core looks good. Willie Gay, Leo Chanel, I think, are going to develop. Safeties, I like. The corners are great, and then we have to develop a bit more with the defensive line, but overall, it looks very good. Now, for some reason, with the rush left end and right end, when I reorder the depth chart, it does not put George Karlaftis or Felix Onyedika-Uzomah in there. It puts like a 60 overall backup. I don't know why it does that. I have to manually put them in. But they are the highest rated rush ends we have on the team. Another bizarre glitch. Par for the course. Par for the course with Madden lately. And again, we are 5-2 at the midseason mark. And the players that we're going to have to bring back are Ray Smith, superstar dev right guard. That's big. Creed Humphrey, Ray Smith's partner in crime to the left. Nick Bolton. Oh my goodness. It's 3 very big players from that draft class. We have $15 million to bring back 3 players that might command a salary of, I don't know, $40 million combined. That's a pretty tough spot to be in. How do we create cap space? And who's the most important of the bunch here? I would go in order. Trey Smith, Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, although it's very close. Although I am going to offer on Nick Bolton first. He is back. $3 million left. Now we can guarantee bringing back one of these players via franchise tag. I'd like to bring both back. So how do we free up that space? It's going to be by restructuring a contract. Patrick Mahomes would be one that I think would be the way to go, but I can't restructure him. Travis Kelce, though, we could. And by that point, maybe Mahomes would be restructurable. But 15.6 million is kind of like the least of our concerns right now. Juwan Taylor continues to haunt me. That's a really big contract that I just can't do anything with right now. Maybe Chris Jones. That makes sense for a restructure. Now, we really don't have a ton of 2025 estimated cap at that point, but we could restructure Mahomes maybe at that point with 3 years remaining left. Or no, we're another year out still. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but we're going to keep trying to move money around to make it possible. And now we have 27 million in 2025 cap room. Trey Smith is going to be brought back. 5-year deal for the superstar dev right guard. And then Creed Humphrey should be the final piece. 5-year deal. And that is all the money we have. 2025 cap room is down to less than 1.5 mil. So all of my free agent ads, they're going to be gone. Need to replenish those in the draft. Corner and receiver are once again the strengths of the draft class. I guess we could still draft either. And we end up going 15-2. Huge season. And I'm always a little tripped out by these low frame rate additions to the news section. Nice. All right, that was it. Okay, well, it's something, I guess. Patrick Mahomes with another incredible season, over 4,800 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. Isaiah Pacheco averaged about a full yard per carry more than he did a season ago. More attempts, and of course, more yards, 24 touchdowns. And then receiving, Rashee Rice dominated. Travis Kelce was an awesome number 2. Sky Moore, actually, ended up producing a ton in the slot. And Rodney Gore had a great rookie year. Sky Moore kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, I guess he ended up being in that slot role, and he finally broke out, which is something I was not expecting at all. I thought we had our 2 big receivers, but we had 3 that really produced a ton. And then defensively, Nick Bolton had a great season. Tackles for loss, 16 for Karlaftis led the way. 12 sacks for Chris Jones. Matabike was awesome as well. 8 sacks for King Felix. And then interceptions, 3 for Bolton, Snead, and Cook. Only 1 more for the rest of the team combined. It's 1 for Trent McDuffie. And again, our first game of the playoffs will be against the Baltimore Ravens. 10-7. And for whatever reason, I'm a little bit more worried about them this year. I guess maybe because it's year 2. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be ashamed of this team, and I'm gonna be. 28-21 is the final, and we are headed to another offseason after a lackluster playoff performance. Unfortunate. Cowboys back in the Super Bowl, taking on the Ravens and winning. Dak with another MVP, and nothing particularly of note for us. I keep expecting to see some Chiefs in here. We're getting no recognition. So new salaries have come into place here in 2025. We're negative 16 million in cap room. Nobody really of note to re-sign, but I am going to pick up the 5th-year options of both Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis. It does help, of course, that they were not picked in the top 10 or close to it in the case of George Karlaftis. Trent McDuffie went a little bit earlier than he did. And let's see here. I do still want to clear up some cap space for sure. I just think that it's going to be pretty difficult to do that. Again, it's going to be probably done by moving money around. I should have got rid of Juwan Taylor in year 1. But the problem with that is when we're trying to compete, I don't just want to take on a huge cap penalty. And that's what it was for a long time. Still a pretty big penalty associated with it, right? 14 mil, although we do start to save a little bit of money now. This is a contract we could potentially move. Now, he's a fine starter. He's just not worth 24 million per year. That's the big issue right now. Tooney, we can't renegotiate with. Patrick Mahomes, we can't. Or restructure, I should say. Renegotiation would be cool, but not in the game. Can't do anything with Kelce. Final year of his deal. Same thing with Jordan Mailata. This is a really big year for this team because we have a lot of players that are going to be free agents. We need to save money right now. Joe Tooney also in the final year of his deal. We have so many players. I mean, it's now or never for this team. Our window is closing. It's an interesting twist. The 37th ranked player in the draft, Devontae Burrell, is a top 5 talent in the draft. Okay, well, that's a possibility. Now, could we find our Travis Kelce replacement in this draft? Dalton Whitworth from the U has A, catching traffic, B, catching, A, deep route running, B, run blocking. Great athlete with elite speed, and skills-wise, looks pretty good. A, medium route running, A, deep route running. Could this be the next Travis Kelce? Very tough player to replace, but if anyone can do it, it might be Dalton Whitworth. This is a move done to create cap room. Juwan Taylor, number 28, a third next year and a fourth this year, gets us number 14 from the Rams. So we're moving up in pursuit of drafting that tight end. And the problem right now is we're still probably a few picks away. We are in negative cap room space right now. Not a great spot to be. And I'd like to move up again from 52 back to the end of the first round probably. Now, how do we make that happen? 60 and 72 is not going to be enough. Perhaps maybe a first next year and a second to move up in the first in this round. We also need to clear up some cap space, but we don't for this trade to work as long as we don't acquire a player. Just a pick, that's going to be fine. How about the Bengals? First next year and number 60 to move up to 24. Not quite. Let's move down a little bit. For the Bills at 26, it's going to be declined as well. But pick number 27 or 28 we could probably trade for. And pick number 27 it is. 28 we just traded away, obviously. But that is the trade. You guys know the details. That probably will be spent on a receiver. And we might be able to trade Sky Moore and free up some space. Now, we're more into the negative for cap room right now because we're acquiring a higher pick, which we have to pay. We have to pay more, of course, for those high picks. So maybe we just can't trade anyone right now. I do need a right tackle. Obviously, we moved Juwan Taylor. But I also need to move up from 14 if we want to draft the Travis Kelce replacement. Where did I get Tyler from? Patrick Mahomes from Tyler, Texas. Surely that's not what I'm thinking of. 14 and 72 gets us number 11. That should be the trade up that secures us the wide receiver or the tight end and then the receiver later. See what happens here. I know it looks like we're drafting a backup right now, but he might end up playing a significant amount. And I'm not going to trade Travis Kelce. I'm not crazy, but he looks really, really good. Like a significant upgrade for any backup tight end. And I think he could end up having a really good depth trait. He just looks way too good to pass on, so I'm drafting him. It's my next Travis Kelce in mind, and they gave him number 87. There you go. 89 speed and acceleration. Incredible for a tight end. He should be amazing. Pick 27, we know Devontae Burrell. He's only 20 years old, by the way. We know he's a top 5 talent. Good athlete, great change of direction, and I mean, he's really elite with the ball in his hands. A, ball carrier vision, break tackle, juke move, kick return. Catching's an A. Stiff arm's an A. A, ball carrier vision, I feel like isn't particularly rare for a receiver in this game, but he should be amazing. Hidden development, 91 speed, 95 change of direction, 93 acceleration, 90 agility. Great athlete, not really a surprise, but A, catching's really going to help him out as well. And then it's probably a tackle with this next pick at the back of the second round. There's no good tackles here. There are no good tackles. So I'm going to draft a corner. Imani Solomon looks great. We can't really trade because we don't have the cap room right now. So we're just going to draft the best player available. And I think that is Imani Solomon, 93 speed. Pretty nice for a corner. Maybe could trade somebody to free up some cap space. But we just didn't have any good offensive linemen available, which was pretty tough. I don't know what we're going to do at right tackle quite yet, but we're going to figure it out. By any means necessary, we're going to figure it out. Draft recap. I think we did pretty well. Dalton Whitworth is a 75 overall. It's actually pretty good for a rookie tight end. He's got fairly good route running, which I know it doesn't seem great, but for a tight end, mid to high 60s is actually quite good. You might appreciate short route running being in the low 70s, but that's about as good as it can get. He's got every trait you could ask for. And again, he's not going to even start this year. It seems like a waste of a draft pick, but I'm trying to set us up for the future. Devontae Burrell is a 77 overall. He's 20 years old with 85 catching. Is the difference between an A and a C 2 catching? I swear the receiver we drafted last year was C catching at 83, but A catching is 85. I don't understand some of these. I thought A catching was going to be close to the 90s for sure, but he looks good. We could definitely trade Sky Moore now if we can figure out the money. And then Amani Solomon's a 77. It's a great draft pick. Really well-rounded player as well. We got to figure out a way to upgrade tackle. Got a good running back as well from Bethune-Cookman. And this draft, I don't think was going to be that great. Only one guy ranked 78 or higher. Frank Bozeman, a running back from Auburn. We got the second highest rated player in the class. And it was a later pick to do so. So great pick of Amani Solomon. And we also got Devontae Burrell, who's, of course, top 5. Wasn't a great draft class, but I think we did pretty well. I think with Dalton Whitworth here, we got, what, 3, like, top 15 players? Pretty good. Upgraded development traits, by the way, that I didn't even talk about or notice. Isaiah Pacheco up to Superstar. Rashee Rice up to Superstar X Factor, which is huge. And then Rodney Gore, I guess, had Superstar development. I don't know why. I forgot to even look at these guys. No, he didn't. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year for the AFC. He had Star. Got upgraded to Superstar. Ends up being an awesome draft pick. How did I forget to check that? I feel like I always do. I guess because we didn't make a big Super Bowl run probably is it. Leo Chanel up to Star Dev. Hooks had Star. Red, of course, we already knew had normal. A lot of Star Dev here. I need some guys to get upgraded to Superstar and higher. Solomon's a great pickup, but we have great depth at corner now. One of these guys could probably get traded. Brian Cook up to Star Dev if he didn't have it. I don't think he did. Valentine is only Star. I don't really want to trade L'Jarius Sneed. I really don't. But who can I move? Anyone? I think we're just going to keep good depth in our secondary right now. And Wanye Morris maybe just starts at right tackle. He's only -6 overall to Juwan Taylor. Really not too bad. We are going to restructure the contracts of both Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed, giving us a little bit of wiggle room here. And then I think I'm going to try and trade Sky Moore and somebody else. And then we'll have enough wiggle room to probably acquire a new right tackle. That's kind of my goal. Receivers set. We don't need Sky Moore. We have 3 good ones now. And who was the last guy I was going to trade? I think it was Joshua Williams. Yeah, he just doesn't fit with the team anymore. Final year of his deal. Makes sense to get rid of him now. Could get Thayer Munford. That's not very good. I would rather just add a pick and get a better tackle if possible. No first round pick this year. But we could trade our second and just say, hey, we're going for it. Our window's closing. Now is the time to make a move. Okay, that's a very interesting trade. Sky Moore, Joshua Williams, and Cam Jones, as well as a second-round pick for Paris Johnson. Big upgrade at right tackle. That was a very interesting one. Again, Joshua Williams. I wish I didn't have to trade him, but it just made sense to. And then we got a big upgrade at right tackle with the former first-round pick in Paris Johnson Jr. The offensive line is now great and young. Really nice combo for the development of this team. And I think we're going to be ready for the season. I love where we are. Could use maybe a backup running back. Maybe a third tight end. But other than that, I mean, we are good to go. Ooh, I also don't really have a kicker and punter. So I probably need to sign somebody that's actually good. Like 269 overall players. Nice, but we can do better. Or can we? We don't have the cap room for Chris Boswell. I just need to free up 2 mil. And I think I can do that. I mean, are they going to be unsigned into the regular season? I'm going to hope that they are. And then we should cut guys just naturally, trimming it down to 53. Should have enough money to then sign Chris Boswell. Maybe even a punter as well. Could be an option. You only have 80K right now. I feel really good about this team. I think it's going to be a A really nice season for us. Specialist-wise, of course, it keeps putting B.J. Thompson as our main rush end. It wants B.J. Thompson to play so badly. I don't know why it's only him. He's going to be our only rush end. He's so good he can play on both sides. Rashee Rice can play the slot. That's fine. Could put the rookie Burrell there, though. Might be even better. And got to put in the correct rush ends. King Felix and George Karlaftis, and we'll be good to go. I'll see you at week 8. I bet we're going to be 5-2. That's my guess. Well, it can't be 5-2 if you only play 6 games. 5-1 at the midseason mark. Doing great. Rodney Gore is going to be up to an 84 overall, probably. And he is not 83. It was too easy for that not to happen as soon as I said it. Too easy. We do have $51 million in available cap room for 2026. We have to re-sign Isaiah Pacheco, Justin Madubuike, Jordan Mailata, Brian Cook, Leo Chanel, Travis Kelce, Joe Thuney. And that's actually it. But that's a lot of players. That's so many. 51 mil when Thuney's going to be 15. Kelce's going to be 15. Then we're down to 20. Chanel's probably like 7. Cook's close to that, I would bet. We don't have the money to do this. Pacheco's got to come back because running back's important in simulation. Got to bring back Isaiah Pacheco. He returns down to 40. Madubuike is going to be 15. 20. That makes sense. Got to offer him a bit more because he didn't want to be here. Now we're down to 17.5. Can I restructure Patrick Mahomes yet? Please? Jordan Mailata might have to be the one to go. Brian Cook is back. Down to 11. It's Kelce. Oh, man. We're going to figure it out somehow. Oh, I can't pay Leo Chanel $15 million. Come on. Travis Kelce. Just take less. Take less money, please. Nope. All right, well. We are probably screwed, right? I think we can bring back these 4 players. Maybe one of them. There will be a riot in the streets of Kansas City if I trade Travis Kelce. I won't do it. I won't do it. But one of these linemen, maybe. I'm trying to make a Super Bowl run, though. I can't trade them. Who can I trade? Leo Chanel? I don't really want to. We're just going to be stuck. We're going for a Super Bowl run here in 2025, and we're going to rebound after that. Whatever happens, happens. But I can't trade anybody. Can't do it. And back-to-back seasons of 15-2. Huge. Trent McDuffie, 8 tackles. Okay. Love that for him, I guess. That's why Patrick Mahomes was still very, very good, although worse than the 2 previous years. Does that mean that Isaiah Pacheco was even better? He was about the same. Touchdowns went down, though, but very good numbers. I mean, he's dominating on the ground. Receiving, Travis Kelce had maybe his best season ever. 19 touchdowns for Kelce. Nearly 1,500 yards. Rashee Rice was awesome. Devontae Burrell was an amazing rookie. Rodney Gore was also great. I mean, our receiving core is fantastic. Patrick Mahomes certainly helping them out. And then our defense played pretty well. 15.5 sacks for Chris Jones. Only guy even over 4.5 sacks. Or over 4 still counts. Wow. Chiefs defense is definitely a little bit weird here in simulation. Talking about the playbook, of course, but they get the job done. Number 5 in defensive points per game. And that's with our offense scoring as much as we do. So I don't really think there's any reason to make a change. I don't really care about the stats so much as I care about them actually playing very well. And they are. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be boosted up to a 99 overall for this, hopefully, Super Bowl run. This is the big year for us. We got to go out and make it happen. Probably will opt to boost zone coverage for Trent McDuffie. I mean, the team's great. We just got to actually go out and win in the playoffs. Ooh, Amani Solomon, superstar development. This was a draft pick at the end of the 2nd round for us, wasn't it? Maybe it was mid-2nd. Still, what an awesome pickup. Nick Bolton up into the 90s. I mean, the team is obviously great. I can only say that so many different times. But we just got to go out and actually experience playoff success. The Chiefs in real life have experienced a ton. Us, however, in the video game, barely any. We have 1 playoff win out of 3 opportunities, and we've crushed it in the regular season too. The team is just pretty content with not winning in the playoffs. Been close losses as well, and that's why going to jump in the divisional and just make sure things go smoothly. We're playing the Chargers, so I really shouldn't have much to be worried about. I'm sure Brandon Staley's their head coach. It's a 94 overall Chiefs team against the 83 overall Chargers, but Madden hates me. So I'm jumping in. I'm watching it. Of course, the Chargers take the lead. We tie it back up at 3, though, and then take the lead with the first touchdown of the game. Chargers answer right back, make it 10-10, but we get a field goal before the half. It's 16-10 in the third quarter, 24-10 pulling away a bit. Chargers not going down without a fight, though, but it might be too little too late as they score a late touchdown. But they get the football back. 36 seconds on the clock. Does Justin Herbert have a rally in his bones? Is it possible? We shall see. Check down. Herbert's going to take off, or is he? He's buying time and throwing it away. That took up a lot of time, but it's better than a sack, or maybe even a throw over the middle at that point. With 18 seconds, I mean, that might be the game, depending on how quickly you can get back up to the line. 18 seconds to go. Just keep them in front of you. A check down's fine. Take the deep route. That's totally fine. 12 seconds. Just keep them in front of you. Herbert throwing to the sideline is a throwaway. They might have one shot at the end zone. A touchdown and an extra point would tie the game. See if that's what they get. Hopefully not. I'm going to rush with Nick Bolton. See if Austin Eckler stays in a block. I bet that he does. Good speed from Bolton, though. Get to Herbert. He launches to the end zone. Knock it down. And there's 1 second left on the clock. You got to be kidding me. We'll do it one more time, but this time I'm not only going to rush 3. We're going to try and get some pressure. I know that might seem scary, but we're going to back everybody up. We're going to pass commit. Everyone knows what it is. And our DBs are going to make a play, and that football is going to come out early, or not at all. Willie Gay in there to ice it. I think Felix Onyedike-Uzomah is in there as well. Number 50 just looks weird not being Justin Houston, but I guess it's been a while since Justin Houston even was a Chief. But just such a dominant pass rusher for them. I feel like the Chiefs' pass rushers always get underrated. Maybe George Karlaftis is next. But, I mean, think about it. Do you even remember Jared Allen being a Chief? And then, I mean, you got some unsung heroes of Tamba Hali. Justin Houston maybe was super hype at the time, right? But did anyone really talk about him as one of the greatest pass rushers of the 2010s? Maybe they do, maybe not. It feels like he goes under the radar a bit. Either way, we're moving on to the AFC Championship. Good win. Chargers made it close, but couldn't pull it out in the end. It's going to be the Titans in the AFC Championship. Another 83 overall team, but I'm not taking any chances. We're jumping in on our first Super Bowl appearance of this video. No points so far. Finally, the Titans break that with a field goal. How have we not got on the board? Finally, we do. It's 3-3, 6-3. Only field goal so far in the snow game before the first touchdown. Finally, Jordan Love is also the quarterback of these Titans, by the way. And we are beginning to extend this lead, although the Titans answer instantly after not being able to score a touchdown the whole game. But their defense can't do enough when it matters. And a pretty slim-looking Andy Reid going to move on to the Super Bowl again. 20-13 is your final. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Jordan Love basically had interchangeable stats there. You couldn't even tell the difference. They were so close. But you never know how they actually played. Stats are just stats at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, we are going to the Super Bowl. Finally, might I add, and as I keep mentioning, our window is closing. And it's nice that we're going to get one more shot for losing a lot of talent. And we are probably going to. It's just the way that it is. Can't bring back everybody. Travis Kelce's a tough one. I wish he'd just retire here going into 2026. But for one more game, I need him. Chiefs, Cowboys. They also went 15-2. The Justin March Lillard Bowl. I don't know why he's like the first Chief Cowboy that I think of. Justin March Lillard. I think he's like just a... I don't know if he's in the league anymore. Rotational linebacker. But I guess the Chiefs and Cowboys are in primetime so much that you just see so much of them. Burrell only has star dev. Pacheco's up to superstar X Factor. Whitworth has superstar dev. People are not going to like this pick because it's drafting a backup tight end, but he's the Travis Kelce replacement is what I'm thinking of there. Travis Kelce's a 92 right now, playing up to a 97. They will meet in overall within a season, probably. And then defensively, no upgrades. Yeah, Solomon as superstar. We saw that. All right. Same good team. All right. 87 overall Cowboys. A really, really good team, but we're a 94 overall. It's you know, not that close. There are levels to this, and we are a step above for sure. See, though, if we can get the win in Atlanta, Cowboys, Chiefs, Super Bowl. It's the Dallas Cowboys taking on the former Dallas Texans. The Cowboys are up early, 14-0. Our offense is being dominated by the Cowboys defense, and our defense can't really do much to stop their offense. This is certainly not what we want. We brought it to a one-possession game, though, and forced to punt its former Chief, Tommy Townsend. We're going to take over. We need a good drive. Come on, Mahomes. Do something for us. We have so many weapons for you now. Checo's wide open. We didn't have just enough time. I was looking at the right side of the field. Oh, this time we get it out to Pacheco. Just like that, we are in to Cowboys territory. Need a score on this drive. Need a score. Isaiah Pacheco actually out wide here. He's going to check down. Wide open over the middle is Burrell. He breaks a tackle as well. And that is first down. Cowboys defense in hell. They can't stop our passing attack. Or running in the case of Mahomes. I was going to just throw it away. He just fumbled. All right. Cowboys take over. Yep. But our defense comes up clutch. Forces another punt. And we're back at midfield. Okay. That was just a minor setback for a major comeback. Don't worry about it. Mahomes on the run. Now I'm going to throw it away. I tried to earlier, but I guess it was across the line. Would have preferred the penalty, obviously, to the fumble. They're going single high. I've got 2 posts on the field. Give me a second more, please. Is it because I'm dropping back so far? It's a specialty of mine. 3rd and 10. We need this. And we're going to have it. Patrick Mahomes on the run. Do not fumble, please. Oh, wide open. Wide open. RPO works to success. It's Dalton Whitworth. Touchdown. The first-round pick, potential Travis Kelce replacement, is in for the score. Of course, we need a 2-point conversion to tie it up. I'm a little bit afraid to call this run up the middle, but we're going to try it. It's a trap. Just can't call a trap in that spot. It's not a really good short yardage run, in my opinion, in that spot. Just, you need too much to happen. Too many good blocks. Too many perfect blocks need to happen. All right. Well, we know what we need now. We need a stop or to hold the Cowboys to less than a field goal. And we can't do it. It was a long drive, too. Oh, and we wasted all our timeouts. Perfect, perfect. Dude, they got to stop blitzing me so heavily. Please. Take away a few yards in favor of actually getting out of bounds, stopping that clock. Gonna need an onside kick. Probably just should have passed on the goal line. I don't really love goal line runs. Oh, we got... Okay, that was so weird. We got stopped. It would have been wide open. He ended up getting wide open again. But if the blocking doesn't work out, the play is a failure. That's it. I mean, that's the end of the story, unfortunately. Kelsey just fumbled out of bounds. That's a smart move. Stops that clock here in Madden. But, yeah, at least passing, you can, make something happen. You can turn it into a run. I just don't like, I don't know, needing blocks. I like to just run mesh on the goal line and throw it to the guy they don't cover. Usually my favorite thing. Checo wide open, touchdown, but it's going to be tough. Let's see what would have happened. Let's see what would have happened. 2-point conversion is successful. Not super smart to go for 2 in that spot because a field goal would give us the win. But we're going to hopefully get the onside kick. So, see what happens. Here we go. Show us what you got. Give us a good onside. Oh, Cowboys got it. I meant to go for a high kick, and I forgot. And that is your final. Cowboys win one, 28-27. We're coming back for another season. Disappointing. And it really just came down to that 2-point conversion and going down like 21-3. I mean, the Cowboys almost blew one of the biggest leads in Super Bowl history. Let's not talk about that, but in the end, they didn't. Cowboys beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, obviously. No Rookies of the Year for us. No Offensive Player of the Year. The fact that Patrick Mahomes has not won Offensive Player of the Year or MVP during this rebuild is insanity. He's played so well, and they just choose to give it to somebody else every year. It's stupid. $5.8 million by Lotta. Worry about Johnson. Chanel. Kelsey's down to an 88. He's 36 years old. Joe Tooney. Oh, man. I don't know. It's so tough to let Travis Kelce walk, but I just don't know how we re-sign him. Although, hold on, we can finally restructure Patrick Mahomes and free $36.8 million worth of cap room, or cap space. Effectively means the same thing. 2027 is going to be really expensive, but that's fine. We free up some space. Now we have the flexibility to bring back Kelce if we need to. Joe Tooney. Leo Chanel, probably. Jordan Mailata does not want to be here. He's going to test free agency. I might allow that. Because that's going to be tough. Travis Kelce, through the medium risk 2-year offer. A little over 12 per year. Travis Kelce's back. It's stupid, but the storyline, I can't let Travis Kelce leave, you know? I'd rather have Mailata than Kelce, I think, or than Tooney. Is there any way I can get them both? 2-year deal, take down the money. Right, Joe Tooney actually accepts that. $14 million to bring back Leo Chanel, and then we'll franchise tag Jordan Mailata. Chanel might just say no. He's so expensive for someone that should not be this expensive. Madden's got to figure this out. It's a ridiculously expensive contract. He wants to play for a new team. That's fine. We're going to franchise tag Mailata, and we just have to replace a linebacker in the draft somehow. Chanel has to go. I mean, it is what it is. I was not going to pay him $15 million per year. It's absolutely insane for an 81 overall off-ball linebacker. And even for an edge rusher, really. That's crazy. I don't know. It's ridiculously expensive. Like, for an edge rusher, at least I can understand it. 81 overall, like 25 years old. 15 million's not, like, wild. Because contracts keep getting more and more expensive. But 15 million for an 81 overall off-ball linebacker is, I mean, it's unreal. Like, maybe if he was a 90 or a high 80s player, I could get it. Maybe even an 86 overall, 85 overall at his age, I could maybe get it. But it's just, he's not, he's like 2 overall points away from being in the 70s. Caleb Holloman looks very good. We don't need a defensive end, though. I need a linebacker. Linebacker class doesn't look amazing. I'm hoping we can find a gem hidden here, but it's going to be tough. I want to find that diamond in the rough. I don't know if it's possible. We don't pick until the end of the 4th round right now. That's just simply not going to do. It's going to take 2 second-round picks to trade up into the 2nd round here, but I feel like I really need a 2nd-round pick to make everything work here. We're going to take a shot on a linebacker, maybe 2 if one gets to the 4th. But this is our best chance to replace Leo Chanel, which is the only thing I'm trying to do right now. Added these guys to my favorites. It's just trying to decide which one looks the best. And to be honest, it's tough to say. I think actually Daniel Cabrera looks really good. I think the top linebacker looks really good too. We might actually have a couple of good players here. Now, they might not end up being even 75 overall, but they can be close enough. We might be able to get a starter. I'm taking Davion Allen from Oklahoma. B blocks at A pursuit, B zone coverage, A to C tackle, elite speed. Love that. It's our chance. He's got normal dev. I mean, the linebackers, they look pretty good. We may have taken the wrong one. I didn't think they looked crazy at first, but You know, a lot of them ended up having, oh, and they're all off the board, having pretty good stats once I scouted them further. Pretty good attributes, I should say. I mean, tackling is nice for Geo Cooper. Am I really going to find a good player in the undrafted section, though? It's possible. He's got great speed. Lead acceleration. I might have. Take a shot. Geo Cooper, normal dev, but 85 speed, 90 acceleration. Tackling. I mean, maybe he's a starter. I don't know. I will say, though, if there's one position you can kind of get away with having less than you'd want, being really good, outside linebacker is it, or linebacker in general. Because think about it, with sub linebackers, if you're running nickel, which is a base defense for some teams, dime, obviously, bringing more DBs onto the field means taking linebackers off. So you really only need 2 good ones. But Davion Allen's pretty good. 75 overall. He's going to start. But it'll be our 3rd sub linebacker, so doesn't really need to do a whole lot for us. And then in this draft class, there were a couple 80 overall players. A safety, a quarterback, a corner very close. The defensive end looked awesome. This was a really nice looking draft class here. You know, the top 5 is pretty stacked. And Davion Allen ended up being one of the better players in the entire draft class. That's what, top 15? Another linebacker looks pretty comparable in overall, but he's a speed rusher, just same face and same position. But same overall, went number 5. So I actually think we definitely took the right player. Just didn't get the dev trait we wanted. Dodson, I think I looked at, obviously opted to go a different direction. I think we took the right player. Just a disappointing dev trait, which it happens. I restructured some contracts in order to afford to sign a kicker and punter. And we're going to bring back Harrison Butker, just sitting there in free agency. And also Texas legend Michael Dixon. Hook 'em. Team looks great. Patrick Mahomes so good we can't even upgrade him. I like where we are. I mean, nothing's really changed. We just downgraded from Leo Chanel to Davion Allen. That's okay. Not a lot of great depth at defensive tackle on this team. That might be the one thing I do, is sign an interior defensive lineman for goal line and then simulate to at least the midseason mark. I feel like we're going to be in the playoffs. Feel pretty good about that. I don't know how good of a player we can even sign here. Dalvin Tomlinson's actually not expensive. We can afford him, and we can probably afford another one as well. It's going to be former chief, current chief in real life, Tershawn Wharton. No, it can't be. We can't afford him. All right, it's going to be somebody slightly cheaper, like Daryl, TJ Slayton. No, it's not. He's also slightly too expensive. I thought Wharton was negative 10K. Misread. What about Texas legend Malcolm Roach? Too expensive. It's going to be former top 50 pick, maybe. Kristen Hill. Why is it the same cap hit? They're lying to me about what the cap hit is. No, don't want Jordan Elliott. Transfer from Texas. What about former 5-star Zach Pickens? You can afford him. There you go. 5-1 at the midseason mark. Again, in tremendous shape. 49ers actually a 90 overall team. And I kind of forgot about Terrence Valentine. He is star dev, is now up to a 75 overall outside linebacker. So I guess we didn't really need to go all out and draft one, but we did, and we're fine. And we're 5-1 and probably going to win 15 games again, unless I just jinxed it. 14-3. 14-3 is still pretty good. Check out the numbers here. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes is not going to win MVP again, despite having an incredible season. 4th in passing yards and touchdowns, though it said. 3 interceptions. Rushing, Isaiah Pacheco averaged 5.5 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns, over 100 yards per game. Receiving, Rashee Rice was amazing. Travis Kelce was still amazing. Devontae Burrell, Rodney Gore, Isaiah Pacheco even out of the backfield. Good role players. And then Nick Bolton was pretty great in terms of tackles. Finally got multiple double-digit sack guys. Karlaftis over 12. Chris Jones, double digits, 8 for Onyedika Uzama. Matabike not too far behind. And then not really many interceptions at all. But this is the year. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. We're looking good. Another first-round bye. Let's see what we can do. Final upgrade. And wouldn't you know it, it's the Ravens again in the divisional. I'll jump in. Finally, we scored first in a playoff game. I felt like we went down 3-0 every single time. 14-7, 21-14 now. Instant reaction and answer from the Ravens. Good drive. They've made it really close here. A 6-point game. We got the ball, though, and now we don't. We punted it. Ravens punted it back. That's a really tough time for a punt. You can't punt and give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes in that spot. Or maybe you can. Do we go for it and not get it there? How do they have the ball at the 35? We didn't even punt. 30 seconds. They need a touchdown. Field goal won't do. Oh my goodness, we were into a crazy, crazy situation. Oh, we needed to make that tackle. Let him get out of bounds. It's crazy. That's fine, though. They can get down to the 1-yard line. They just can't get into the end zone. Keep him in bounds. Gonna get out. And the problem is Lamar is really, really tough to tackle, too. You almost don't even want to get him on the run. And he thought about it and then thought better of it and threw it away. 3rd and 6. If we could just bring him down in the backfield somehow, I mean, it's probably game over. It's just that's really tough to do. I'm actually not going to blitz Nick Bolton. I'm going to pick up Mark Andrews and go underneath. And they just keep getting out of bounds. Blitzing's not going to work. I think we just have to drop everybody back. That's going to be the way to do it. I like dime, cover 4. We can still rush 4 in this spot. We just have a bunch of DBs. And I'm stuck on Trent McDuffie. Gonna have to use her, and down goes Lamar! Sacked by former Raven Justin Matabike. Game over. Chiefs win. Oh my goodness, the pass rush finally got to Lamar, and we are headed to the conference championship. Bills Chiefs at Arrowhead. Hopefully the record for the Chiefs at Arrowhead this year has nothing to do with this game, or no impact, and it won't. It's a video game. It doesn't matter at all. But gotta come away with the win is what I'm saying. Gotta beat the Bills. You're 1 win away from back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. Well, who cares about the result, but appearances, that's fine. 1 win away. Let's get it done. Bills took the lead early, but we answered and then took the lead. It is 21-10. Looks like it might be a high-scoring one here. Offense, they're scoring every time they touch the football, but our defense is basically allowing a score every time the Bills touch the football. It's 35-27, and the Bills have instantly answered. Interception, maybe? I mean, they got it back instantly. 2-minute offense, 35-35. I mean, they're leaving Gore wide open. What is Matt Milano going to do? He's going to drop. We're going to throw over the middle. It's Rashee Rice, and Rashee Rice finds space. That's field goal range. That could be the game right there. Monster play. Bills calling timeout to try and not lose this game. It might be too little too late. That's a great block. Look at the cut up field. I need to do this in Falcons franchise. Beautifully done. All right, here's what we're going to do. Not score. We're going to move to the right. And we're going to set this up. They're letting us in. I don't want it. I don't want it. Take more time off the clock. Isaiah Pacheco, by the way, is over 160 yards on the ground. Unbelievable. And this could be the final offensive snap of the game. Pacheco stopped at the 3. We got 20 seconds here. I got to turn shoe clock off. We line back up 8 seconds. We can snap the ball here. Or I'm not crazy. We're going to kick the field goal. I actually can't see the arc. I can't really see it well at all. Doesn't matter. Right down the middle, Butker sends us to the Super Bowl. 38-35. I mean, we almost blew it. Our defense really needs to play better if we want to win a Super Bowl. These quarterbacks were exceptional today. Chiefs-Lions in the Super Bowl. That's an interesting matchup. Can I think of a Chief and a Lion? None really jumped to mind. I don't know why I thought of James Ahedebo. I don't think he was ever a Chief. Gotta be somebody obvious. None really jumped to mind instantly, though. Matt Castle. Matt Castle's one. I don't really think of backup quarterbacks usually, but Matt Castle's one. He was definitely a Chief, for sure. And definitely, I think, a Lion. But either way, let's see the final team before we go on to take on the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. How crazy is that they've actually made a Super Bowl? Travis Kelce playing up to a 92. Mahomes, obviously, 99. Pacheco, 99. Rashee Rice is up into the high 90s. Receivers around Mahomes are incredible. And then defensively, Trent McDuffie up to superstar dev. Finally, somebody else goes up. Willie Gay also got up to star dev at some point as well. He was definitely normal dev for most of this rebuild. It might have been last year, though. He doesn't look especially new to me. But 95 Chiefs against the 88 Lions. See what we can do. Here we go. Up early, 7-0. Lions, I thought were going to answer. They got a field goal on the board, but we only score touchdowns. 14-6, or we don't score at all. Frankie Louvu interception. It's 21-6 Chiefs, 24-6. Lions not really putting up much of a fight. I mean, we just keep touching or scoring the football every time we touch it. That's a 2-minute warning. This would have to be some comeback from Jared Goff. We'll see. They're only down 34-6. You know, at 4 touchdowns in 2 minutes without allowing us to score even a point. Who knows? Maybe it's possible. Okay, what is that? We didn't tackle? Jameson Williams touchdown. All right, well, they've got life. But we got the onside, and they're dead. They're dead. You're dead now. Goodbye. Isaiah Pacheco's a beast. I mean, they're probably trying to strip him as Mahomes hits 350 yards passing. We've secured a Super Bowl win. I mean, I can turn over the football twice and not even care. Get Whitworth another touchdown. That's actually a crosser. Is he going to be open? Ooh, nice pass from Mahomes. My fault. I feel like the Lions are playing incredible defense now that the game's over. A little bit too late for them now, probably. Or certainly. I can't find anyone down the field that gets open. This team stinks. But either way, that is the ball game. 34-13 is your final. The Chiefs, again, are Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs dynasty rolls on under Patrick Mahomes and company. Travis Kelce gets another one. Big win for Kansas City. Went on a little bit of a dry spell there. But you know what? You can feel pretty good if your dry spell of winning Super Bowls is like 3 years. Yeah, you don't win one. Or 4. That's a pretty good run. Mahomes adds another Lombardi and Super Bowl ring to his collection. And that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.